The NRD Rundown Presents, our new weekly show where us nerds talk about one specific theme. Today we're going to cover the Disney Plus Day announcements in the Star Wars and Marvel universes. And so I'm your nerd, Darren. Eric?
I am your fellow nerd, Eric here. Big Morg.
I am your fellow word nerd, Morgan.
Yes.
Are we recording?
No.
We are.
Oh, then I'm Rusty Shackelford.
Otherwise known as Brett Daniel King.
AKA the birthday boy.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Brett.
Thanks.
He
That's a
is.
street name.
How old are you now? Are you revealing
You want
that?
a real answer? Like, I'm really 38.
Good looking 38-year-old.
Yeah, this bald spot does not feel 38.
The true sexiest man alive.
True, yeah. You got 14
Not
more years
Paul
to hear the sexiest man alive. Listen, this is our new weekly show. We're separating out the shows so that people can consume them in different ways and in shorter periods. Our shows were getting a little long, so it's probably best that we separate it out and you guys can listen to them in different segments. So this is our new weekly show, the NRD Rundown Presents, and today we're talking about Disney Plus Day. I'm gonna say it up front, not as big as we expected, and it really was kept 100% to what is going to be debuting on Disney Plus. So we didn't get any Spider-Man trailer stuff, which we'll be getting on Tuesday. We didn't get any movie stuff like Doctor Strange 2, Thor: Love and Thunder, even in the Star Wars stuff. Yeah, and that makes sense. And we anticipated a much bigger day. It makes sense that they kept it to Disney Plus Day. And honestly, there was a lot of stuff that still came out. So if there was more that came out than this would be a 7-hour long show. So I'm glad we can keep it to just some Disney Plus stuff. And then as the movie trailers and news is released, we'll cover that on the rundown. First, we're going to start in the Star Wars universe because that's where we had the least amount of news come out. In fact, we only got stuff for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We didn't see anything for the Andor TV series. We didn't see anything for the Mandalorian season 3, and I don't even think we got Book of Boba Fett stuff. So it was just about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and honestly, I'm okay with that. I've been wanting to see something from what this TV show will be. I'm really excited after seeing this concept art is what we got. We're going to show it to you here in a second. I'll share my screen if I can click on the right stuff. Here we go.
Hanging tough.
So what we have here is an older Obi-Wan Kenobi, not necessarily the Alec Guinness old Obi-Wan Kenobi, but we have Ewan McGregor as Ben Kenobi on Tatooine. He's riding one of his.
Is that a snuffleupagus?
Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus.
Inspired. Yeah, that's what happens when Snuffleupagus shaves. He was writing this at the end of Revenge of the Sith when he dropped Luke off at Uncle Owen and Lars Beru's home where Luke grew up. So I don't know if this is maybe even like where they'll pick up the show, or maybe this is just his lucky writing animal in the show. But quick thoughts on this from this, Eric?
Yeah, just on the concept art or on the Star Wars?
On that, well, we can share our thoughts about the show as we go through the concept art, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of concept art from the show.
Yeah. So, how old is So
Nobody knows.
Yeah, we don't know the exact time frame this is taking place. In fact, it sounds like it may have flashbacks. It may have it may take place across the Star Wars timeline.
Okay.
This thing ages you fast.
Yeah. Well,
It's definitely
everywhere.
taking place. The majority of the show will take place after Revenge of the Sith, before A New Hope. In fact, I think it's, now that I say this, I know for a fact it's taking place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
That's what
10
I
years,
thought.
10 years before A New Hope.
Yeah.
I
So
think it happens in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
So basically, what I was trying to get at is that Alec Guinness is 60. I think he was 63. Just kind of looking at it, he was 63 when he did A New Hope. When they did the first Star Wars movie. So I want to say, I know Ewan McGregor is slightly older than I am, so I think he's in his 50s. So that makes sense. Like, I mean, if you put him now in his 50s and have him 10 years before, that fits in with, age-wise, where you could tell that story and have him be, that age and it not be too big of a stretch to go over. Now,
I'm gonna stop sharing because you're not talking about the concept art. We want to see what you're talking about.
Right. So they did post on the Disney Plus channel. They had a 1-minute spot where they did interview Ewan McGregor and some other folks about Star Wars and about the Obi-Wan show, and I thought it was pretty good. I'm really looking forward to seeing this because Obi-Wan is one of those iconic characters, and it's just he's a legend. He's an absolute legend in the Star Wars universe, and his influence on Luke and the overall arc of Star Wars, if you going back to that prequel trilogy, can't be understated. So I'm really curious what they're going to do with this, because that how do you have a guy who's watching over Luke, and then have that introduction to them in Star Wars and have it, it's like, oh, well, I haven't, I don't know. Just, they just have to tread carefully. It's going to be interesting to me. So, yeah.
Yeah. Where are you at with this, Brett? Where's your headspace with this show?
Well, I started, I know there was a book that happened during that time period, and I'd started it, but I haven't finished it. So I don't know if they're going to follow any of that. I think it'll be difficult because it's like he's got to keep a low profile because no one knows they're still there. So I'm just unsure the adventures, how big of an adventure there can be. I mean, sure there will be. I'm sure you can't make a show unless if there's no conflict, no adventure. It'll just be difficult to be like, it has to be fairly small, low profile, and you can't interfere with a whole lot of things. Darth Maul is kicking around at that time, but clearly he can't be around there because he doesn't know where he's at that point, because we know how that story ends. So I think it'll be interesting. That's the best I can say. I'm excited for it. I love Ewan McGregor. I'm excited. I'm going to watch it. I'm not saying I think it's going to be bad in any way. I just don't know how you go about doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. Like they just need to be. They're going to have to be cautious on this, because you don't want to screw things. The way they did Rogue One, I thought was really, really great. Mm-hmm. They told a backstory that nobody was asking for. Nobody was really going, hey man, how did they really get the plans off that? Nobody was asking for that story, but they still told that story, and it was great. And really nobody was asking for, like, well, what was Obi-Wan doing for 20 years, between the time Luke goes and everything? I mean, there was curiosity there, but I don't think anybody was dying to know. But now we're going to get a little sneak into, okay, what does that time period actually look like? And they said on that clip in the Disney Plus that it's a perilous time because there's Jedi hunters out there. And
I was going to say, so the concept art gives us an idea about what the show is going to be. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll talk about it, and it'll help us kind of get an idea.
Give me 12 episodes of him fighting sand people and womp rats.
Yeah.
And the
Get out of here. Get off my yard.
You
Yeah.
could just wipe out a few Jawas.
Get off my sand.
Like
Get all the
Gran Torino.
Jawas.
a la Vader's younglings, so
I mean, if you look at this concept art, what you're starting to see, what this clearly tells us is this is the beginning of the Empire, because you're seeing the actual stormtroopers here. None of the clone troopers or armor is in this concept art. So you get some remnants of the beginning of the Empire. We're also going to see the beginning remnants of the Rebel Alliance and how that was formed in the Cassian Andor TV series, which again we didn't get anything of, but we get some concept art of where we don't know if this is Tatooine or if this is Coruscant, the capital world of the galaxy.
Yeah, Endor. It might be Endor.
It's like the place with the horses.
Get some like Blade Runner type looking concept art here, which could be, again, this could be Coruscant or it could be somewhere else. I can't even really tell you what this is, but what you can see here is the snow speeder, the beginning of the snow speeders. So what'd you say, Brad?
I thought they looked like clouds.
Cloud speeders or clouds? Just actual
the
clouds.
White looks like clouds. Cloud City.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're in clouds.
They do look like clouds. Yeah.
I can't tell those. Is it clouds or smoke? It's
down below, not above, below.
Oh yeah, like right here.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. Okay, well, there we go. I like it.
Rusty
and then
Jack, Brett King. Rusty.
One big thing that was announced with this show is
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen's coming back as Darth Vader, and it sounds like we've talked a little bit about this in the past. Is this going to be flashback? Is this going to be real time? And it's going to be real. It'll be actually Darth Vader, not in flashbacks, in real time. Because what you see here is you actually have a lightsaber fight, a second duel between Anakin or between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan.
I just don't see how they can do that.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, here's the theory that I heard, and I was like, oh, okay, they can play with that vagueness
it's a dream
a bit.
sequence.
Not a dream sequence, but so in A New Hope, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing because this could take a minute. In A New Hope, Vader says, last time I left you or saw you, whatever he says, is I was the learner, now I'm the master. We assume that that's, the very end scene of Revenge of the Sith. We don't know if they have met in between that time and A New Hope. And we assume that they haven't, but this is what you can do with that gray area, that vagueness of that kind of line. Now, do I think that theory is correct? No, I don't really know if it's correct or not. I don't have enough information on it to say it is or not. But there's also this piece of concept art that was released. So you have Sith Inquisitors being addressed on this show, and this is something if you've seen Clone Wars, if you've played Jedi Fallen Order, there are very big characters to the show. And this show is actually supposed to take place after Jedi Fallen Order, so it can't be Trilla.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because I think that would be a really cool idea to bring in the Fallen Order characters. But there's 10 total Sith Inquisitors, and these are not total Siths. They're like Sith apprentices that are out hunting Jedi in the galaxy. And as we know, Tatooine's kind of so far out on the outer rim that it doesn't really get noticed. So even Obi-Wan it's easy for him not to you know, he can use his powers on Tatooine and not get noticed, but if he happens to go off world and uses the Force, they'll sense that and they'll send these Sith Inquisitors to go hunt him. And if that's the case, then you know, maybe that's how Obi-Wan and Darth Vader come to blows. Who knows? Believe me, it gives me great pause because you want to think that
the continuity.
The continuity isn't totally messed with, but it was never. There's some vagueness that they can play with.
I mean, the best I can figure is at the end of when they fought, when Obi-Wan and him fought, like clearly he knew Obi-Wan was alive, right? Because he beat him.
Yeah,
right.
And so the best I can figure is if they do meet, Obi-Wan's got to lose and make Vader think that he's died, so they stop hunting him. That could be the best I can figure.
Yeah. Maybe maybe they even make a truce. I don't want that to be the case, but you never know. Can't be. I'm just saying.
Absolutes. No gray area.
Exactly. Only says do that. So it's interesting. I'm very excited for the show. I love me some Obi-Wan. It might not have as much Jedi action.
Is McGregor the sexiest man alive? That's the question we should be asking ourselves.
Hasn't he been?
He probably.
Only in my mind.
I agree. His accent's pretty. I love the Scottish accent. So, listen, looking forward to Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know when it'll be released. It'll be released in the next year at some point. Probably this time next year, I would assume. But looking forward to it. So the next thing, now we get into the Marvel stuff. And I'm going to share this because this will give us an idea of everything that we will talk about here real quick. All right. So the first thing we'll talk about is cannot wait. X-Men 97, a continuation of the X-Men animated series we've talked about on this show. They announced a new Echo show. Echo is a character we have not seen in the MCU yet. We will meet her in the new Hawkeye TV show debuting in a couple weeks.
Right.
They announced the Spider-Man freshman year animated show, which will show the beginnings of Tom Holland's Peter Parker becoming Spider-Man. Agatha House of Harkness, Agatha Harkness from the WandaVision show. Marvel Zombies. I know Eric and Morgan are excited for that. That we saw the debut of that stuff in What If, and it was really well done. She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, What If, I Am Groot, Ironheart, Secret Invasion. We're going to dig into it right now. But let's get started with what I believe was the most exciting thing. This is my own opinion, was the return of the greatest superhero show of all time for me, was the X-Men animated series. It's returning all of the voice actors from that original 90s TV show, except for obviously the people who have passed away, like unfortunately Cyclops' voice actor passed away. So we'll get a new Cyclops voice, but show? Whoa, easy. I was waiting for Brett to say that.
I didn't realize
I knew it was coming. So
but it was about Wolverine.
What's really exciting about this is it's not going to be MCU canon yet. There will be a way that they could maybe tie it into MCU canon, but it's just continuing the stories of the X-Men animated series from the early 90s. They're bringing back the creators. I actually was able to speak with the creators not too long ago through Twitter. It was one of the most exciting moments of my life. They actually watched the show, and it was when Brett and I did our X-Men show.
How did you not tell me about this? I did not.
I'm pretty sure I told you about this.
I feel like you had
I
told you about this.
No,
I had to have told you about this. They watched the show and they loved it, and then they
Well,
And
everyone
they
loves us, so I don't know why.
shared it on
The
Twitter.
only ones that don't love us are the ones that don't watch, and shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it was a really big day in my life. Anyway, so they're bringing back all the creators. Maybe we can get them on the show and interview them. That would be awesome. But looking forward to this. I know since we had our X-Men show, Brad, and I know you're a big fan of the X-Men as well. What do you think about the continuation of the animated series?
I hope it's not a continuation because they need to like scrap that last season because it was all over the place.
I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, that's great news. I mean, I feel like we should start drinking whenever we say the word nostalgia because it used to be the O word, and now it feels like it's the N word because they just keep pounding us.
Don't say that.
Not
Just
the
say
N-word.
nostalgia.
Yeah, don't say
Oh,
it.
Don't say the N
I
word.
can't track it down.
Can we edit that out?
I mean, it's great. It's great news. I mean, the animation looks extremely similar, which is great because they had great.
Here's the
animation.
logo. I'm sharing the logo right now.
And the voice actors were all great. I if it's canon, cool. If it's not canon, I'm cool with that too because like I feel
Right.
like it's fine to have a story by itself. It doesn't have to be.
Right.
Everything doesn't have to be canon.
Right.
What's interesting is they're calling it Marvel Studios X-Men 97. So I think there's a plan to at some point bring it into MCU canon, and with the multiverse they can. But it's interesting for sure. What do you think, Morgan?
No,
I was going to say Eric, and then I was about to burp, and Morgan came out. And I think it was just like
I don't know.
If I had a
I'm
nickel,
still kind of throwing up in my mouth from Morgan's Luke Skywalker.
I'm
take.
glad that
if I had a nickel for every
when you had
time
a
that
burp and
happened.
throw up, you go to me. But I mean, I'm excited for it. It's bringing back the X-Men. I don't want it to be canon. I want it to be its own thing. I think if they make it canon, it's just going to get too confusing and too
There's a
weird.
lot of freedom. There's a lot of freedom. to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Right. Like I want it to be its own
Yeah,
thing.
that's a
I
good point.
like Brett said, I hope it really isn't like a straight continuation from the original
Yeah.
series. I would appreciate
They
it if
can
it was
just
kind of
cut
its
that
own
fifth
thing.
season out.
Yeah.
Now I feel really scared the creators are watching this and they're like, screw Brett King. Like I wish you hadn't said that.
Everybody's
What if I say the
everybody's a
wrong thing?
critic. Everybody's a critic. It's like,
Yeah, well,
I think what Brett-
coming up with
Brett meant
5
to
seasons
say-
of great content. You just
I will say they're very nice people. And when I talked to them through Twitter, they were
Well,
They
we
were-
were about to send Brett this a
they
limited
heaped
edition
praise on,
toy set,
on the
but
episode.
no, I'm excited for it. I don't. So I'll say, just in general, just to give my quick in general thought of Disney Plus Day, I was just disappointed.
Yeah.
So like this, it's exciting news, but that's it. I mean, there's nothing to it. Yeah, we saw the logo, like, great. I didn't get anything else. Same with like, just not to push the Obi-Wan stuff too much because we're past it, but I mean, we were all expecting a trailer and there was nothing. It's like, great. We don't really know a whole lot more. We kind of just figured what it was going to be, and they're just like, yeah, it's been fun shooting it. Thanks. But it doesn't mean I'm not excited. I'm going to watch it. Something for me and my son to watch. I'm looking forward to that. And, I'm excited to have the voice actors back who could be back. That's neat. I'm glad they did that. But we'll wait and see. I want to see some more from it, and I'm going to watch it when it hits.
Yeah, I'm really glad they're bringing voice actors back, especially for Gambit, because whenever I hear Gambit, I hear that voice actor. Eric, what'd you think? Have you watched the X-Men?
I have not. So I really don't have any opinion one way or the other. I mean, my only exposure really to the X-Men is just a few comics that I read, when I was younger, and then of course your favorite, Bryan Singer's
X3.
X-Men 3. So
We don't say his name.
That's all we know is
Yeah.
X-Men 3.
So no, and I loved the first 2 X-Men movies. The third one was forgettable.
The best.
But I did really enjoy the kind of the reboot of the First Class. I thought was really good. And then I thought Logan might be one of my favorite.
I still cry. Like,
Yeah, Logan might be one of my
it's up
favorite
in the-
superhero movies ever.
Oh yeah,
Like it
it's
really
fantastic.
is. And I do really enjoy that X-Men universe. So and what Morgan just said, I think it's going to be an opportunity for my son and I to watch, and maybe my daughter to watch to watch it together. I think that'll be something fun. So
watch the first 4 seasons.
I will have to go back.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch the first 4. And then
Penny loved it. Penny loved it, and it's even she loves the opening theme song, which is just gets you going.
So, I will say it's a little hard to watch the original sometimes, like, because when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, it's good, but it's not what I remember because I was young watching it. If that's a good way to put it, I don't know.
I don't know, Morgan. You're just digging yourself even more in the hole today.
It's good having you here, Morgan.
I'm not saying I hated it. I'm just it's like anything that you watch that was created,
I enjoyed it going back watching it with Penny. I was loving it just as much almost. So I mean I get it. Like I wasn't like my Saturday morning when it was coming on, I wasn't like that excited, but I'm also 30 years older. So it's a bit different.
I watched, my son Jackson and I watched the first season of Transformers, and I feel the same way, Morg. I remember it differently than it actually is. And so.
Yeah, I'm
you
not
remember a time, that's what it is. You kind of remember a time when you were doing something and you were happy.
Right.
And you get to it, like, it's just different.
And it wasn't bad, it's
that nostalgia feeling, like it feels good, know.
Right.
You can't say that.
I know. Sorry. All right. Next on the Disney Plus Day slate was Moon Knight trailer. We got an actual trailer for the Moon Knight TV show coming out, starring Oscar Isaac. It wasn't long. It didn't get much. It's still, I believe, it's still shooting. It may have just recently wrapped, if not. This is a character I don't know a whole lot about. His name is Mark Spector. He suffers from multiple personality disorder, and he's
identity disorder.
Yeah, he's somewhat of a Marvel Batman, but I don't know. Maybe Brett, you're the comic guy here. Maybe you have a little bit more background on who Moon Knight is.
I don't know a lot, but I know it's an Egyptian thing, something to do with Egypt he gets his powers from. And he does have multiple personalities. So he has like a cab driver. He has a very rich version because he is very rich. Yeah. And he has a lot of different personalities. And so is he a news anchor? Is
he a news anchor at some point?
I don't know enough about that.
It's totally not the Dark Knight. It's Moon Knight. Because the moon can be out during the day, so it's not.
And when you say he has these personalities, like he's a cab driver. He's this. Like, does he?
He thinks he's a cab driver. He
thinks it, but does he actually like? I'm gonna go pick up some fares today.
Actually, an Uber.
He really
and then all of a sudden he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm a billionaire. What am I doing?"
Yeah,
and just leaves the car.
I don't think it's like
like an anchorman, like he occasionally goes on television.
I don't think he's an anchorman because I feel like then everyone would be like, "Oh, it's freaking anchorman." So the time works every time. But
out broadcast. I've just been handed a horrifying story. Cannonball.
I don't know a ton about him. I know he gets compared to Batman, but I feel like he's a much different character than Batman.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Brett.
I can't tell if you're listening. Are you guys having a hard time hearing
Morgan, what do you think of the Moon Knight trailer?
You're not answering me.
Wait, was Brett talking at all?
What?
No, I would say, a lot of times when it's compared to Batman, it's if you're a billionaire that's a vigilante, they're going to be like, all right, right. So, but I will say, when watching the trailer, there was a couple Batman vibes in it. When you see him in that outfit, and it looks like he's punching the ground or some dude on the ground, and just like that very brutal, or jumping from the rooftops. Like, I could see the similarities, but again,
Batman
I know
doesn't own the night. All right, he doesn't own the night. People can jump from roofs at all times of the day.
Everybody knows the army.
Really adopted the night. Moon Knight was born in it.
The army owns the night. Everybody knows that.
But
while you're talking more, I'm going to share the title card.
okay, thank you.
Like. Go ahead.
The voiceover in that, was that Oscar?
It was, yeah.
Because he
does different voices
weird.
because he has multiple personnel. Yeah,
I thought that, and I'm excited to see him do a multiple personality. You know, I like movies that do that where you can, like, an actor really gets to showcase their skill of changing themselves multiple times. James McAvoy in Split, and I mean, he was fantastic in that. But I like Oscar Isaac. Again, it was just a little tease. I don't know anything about this guy. I'm assuming the moon transforms him. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
That's werewolves.
That's werewolves.
So he's not a werewolf?
No, he's not a
He's a
werewolf.
Lycan? He's not a Lycan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Kate Beckinsale is in this, though. She'll find them.
Oh,
really? So we'll hunt them down.
No, she's not in it.
I think I was going to say, I was going to get real excited for a second. Kate Beckinsale. Erica, what are your thoughts on Moon Knight?
So I'm going to tell you, the trailer I thought looked good. There was a lot of, there was, like I said, my first thought was, okay, so Moon Knight, not the Dark Knight, not to be confused with the Dark Knight in any way, shape, or form. But I don't know. I don't know anything about the franchise, so I don't know anything about the comic book. But I do like Oscar Isaac. I think he's a tremendous actor. I think he's a tremendous talent. So and so far, you know, Marvel does a great job with the stuff they do. So I'm anxious to see what they put together. I'm sure it'll be pretty good. I'm sure it'll be pretty fantastic. So yeah. I actually am pretty useless with all these this week. I'm more so.
You don't have to be more so than usual. That you know, Brett or I have been in the past to be excited about these though. So that's what's good.
I always look at Guardians
of the
Galaxy. That was a big comic.
That's a great point.
But to the public, like, who were they until those movies?
Yeah, great point. Great point, Morgan. Or Brett.
Thanks, Darren.
Sorry, I haven't said great point, Morgan, yet today. There's a Freudian slip. I've been waiting for Morgan to make a great point today, and I haven't yet.
Was it Reginald Shackleworth? Is that your name today? I don't know. What was it?
Rusty.
Sorry, Rusty. Reginald. I like Reginald better.
Next on the Disney Plus slate was the She-Hulk teaser trailer. And if you've ever been a little boy and you saw She-Hulk, you know you should be a little bit excited for this because it's
a really weird way of saying it.
What does that mean?
This is more Paul Payton.
If you were ever a little boy,
as a little boy, I love reading She-Hulk. I'll just say that.
You always look forward to that and the Fredericks of Hollywood catalog coming to the house every.
I don't know what Fredericks of Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Victoria's Secret.
That's excited to read.
I loved reading Victoria's Secret.
The Victoria's Secret catalog, you cover to cover every single month. Yeah.
For him, it was She-Hulk.
Anyway, I love She-Hulk as a boy. As always. We got a teaser of the Jennifer Walters She-Hulk show starring Tatiana Maslany, Mark Ruffalo. It's been confirmed that they're bringing back Abomination, played by
Tim Roth.
Thank you. Yep. And what we saw, we didn't get to see her in full form, but we got to see glimpses of her in a dress. We got to see glimpses of her in her, I guess you could call it superhero costume. It's more like a workout onesie kind of thing. I'm going to go in reverse on what we just did and start with you, Eric. What did you think of She-Hulk?
You mean Eric or Morgan? Because you can get all our names wrong.
Shackle.
Sorry, She-Hulk got me all confused.
Yeah. Look, I thought it looked neat. I really did. I thought she looks good. I'll probably watch her paint something, or whatever.
Herself.
So yeah. I mean, I love. I don't know, the whole Hulk character, and this is not just on the She-Hulk side, but just like the Hulk overall character, I've never understood like
fascination with him.
yeah, I don't understand the Hulk thing, but all right, I mean the Hulk smash stuff is cool and all that. So I thought it was clever how they made Hulk smart in the Infinity stuff and all that. I thought that was clever and that way you can leverage your character a little bit better. So I don't know, is that what they're doing with this one too? Is they're making her like a smart?
She was never like Hulk, where she was
like I'm gonna get angry.
She always retained her.
So she's like kind of Hulk.
Yeah.
Like
she would transform when the moon was out. How that worked.
But only at the night.
Only in the moonlight.
Let's go back to our early conversation, Brett, that we won't talk about. That.
But we're not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about that with the bathroom breaks. All right.
Tracking.
So, yeah. All right.
She always was kind of smart Hulkish in a way where she retained her personality, her smarts. She's a lawyer. She's going to be a lawyer for superhero cases in the show. This will be more like WandaVision in the 30-minute vein. It's going to be more comedy centric. So I don't know how they're all going to pull together, but
they could do like legal stuff like they did in The Incredibles, where they get sued for
it could be
saving the guy's life. Is like
saving the guy's life.
You didn't save my life, you ruined my death.
They have the Accords.
Yeah, it's like how did Ant-Man get house release? Like maybe that's a story behind that.
Yeah. That's funny.
What was that, Brad? I couldn't.
I said Ant-Man got home released.
Oh yeah. Hawkeye and Ant-Man.
Yeah, they all got released somehow.
Oh, now I can hear you. Hawkeye and Ant-Man both got home release, and now they have the Accords. So if a superhero acts outside of the Accords, maybe they need to hire a lawyer that specializes in superhero cases, like Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk. So there's that. Matt Murdock is rumored to be appearing in Spider-Man, and Hawkeye is rumored to have Kingpin. So that whole Daredevil story could be coming in. It could be competing lawyers between Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters. So we'll see. I'm excited. What do you think, Mark?
Nelson's not part of that?
Who?
Nelson?
Oh, yeah. Foggy Nelson. Yeah. Well, Nelson Murdock. Yeah.
He's got a sweet slap shot. But does She-Hulk, is she just as powerful as the Hulk?
I mean, no, but she's pretty damn powerful.
Hulk strongest there is.
Yeah.
And do we know exactly the time frame of this show? Did they? Because I mean,
he is Smart Hulk in it.
Right, he's Smart Hulk in it.
It's post Endgame. That's all we know.
Right. So he's Smart Hulk in it. He's not wounded in it. In the trailer,
he didn't have
the arm sling in it. He's perfectly fine. Now again, that could just be Marvel's, classic editing to throw people off because that's what they do.
Could be during the blip then.
Right. So I don't think they should tie her into Ant-Man and then like she's the lawyer that helped, because it would just bring up too many of the why didn't she do crap when everything was going down, where we could have used another Hulk,
right. Yeah,
especially another smart Hulk. But no, and I'm excited for it. I thought the little bit of the tease that we got of what she looked like, I thought looked pretty good. And I'm not gonna, do the paint, watch her paint the wall, but I thought it looked good. I just don't get when it takes place, and then the little end scene from the thing.
Yeah, it looked like it was
in the 70s or 80s. I'm confused as to what that was. That was just a neat little like Mark Ruffalo kind of looked like the Hulk show for a second.
I forgot to share the title card, so let me do that while you're talking. But
yeah,
which they changed. They changed the title card to look more nip tucky than it was. It was used to be more comic booky. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with it and where they go with it, and another Hulk-like character will be good, and to see how she transforms.
Yeah. I feel like we had a log line, but now I can't find it. Oh, here it is. She-Hulk follows Jennifer. Let me clear my throat. She-Hulk follows Jennifer, a lawyer who specializes in superhuman-oriented legal cases. She-Hulk will welcome a host of Marvel characters to the series, including the Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo, the Abomination, played by Tim Roth, and that's all they say. So, looking forward to expanding the Hulk universe. Since I would like to see her maybe kind of. I think it is a valid point though by Eric saying like, what is so fascinating by. I've never been the biggest Hulk fan. I mean, he's fun to watch. Just when he is a powerhouse, I thought he was great in Ragnarok. Great in the first Avengers movie. So, what were you saying, Mark?
I was going to say I would like to see her.
I'm going to cut you off though because your points today have
maybe be part of the Abomination linking up with Strange and his people.
Oh, with Wong.
With Wong, yeah, I'd like to see maybe she played a role in that.
Work release, yeah.
Yeah, work release.
Go to the pit, boy.
And then the last trailer we got was the Miss Marvel TV show. I can already probably assume that most of us aren't excited for this. I think it's got some potential. I think it can. The way it's going to tie into Captain Marvel and the Marvels is interesting, but it's not a comic book character. I'm excited to see adapted into the MCU.
I have some thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to share the title card real quick while you're talking, in case anybody's wondering.
I think it'll be fine if they just stay away from the comic book version of her. I thought the video game version of the Avengers by Square Enix was a lot more likable than the comic book version of her. I don't know how much you want me to get into that.
One of our rules on the show is we don't dive into politics too much, so it's not necessarily. And that is why the comic book version they do dive into that politics of it for no reason other than that's the reason. Right. Yep. And it's divisive and we're not gonna get into it too much on the show, but it's I think if they develop her as a character that is a character instead of a politic, it'll be fine. If they make her a character, because she was I liked her in the video game. Yeah. She was very likable. Like she was a fan, and that's something that like she was a fan that became a superhero instead of just like your everyday person living their life, becoming a superhero. Like she loves superhero, and that was something that's like it's extremely relatable. I mean, that's what the whole thing is about. Is she's a huge fan of the Avengers and specifically Captain Marvel, and then she ends up with powers derived from Captain Marvel. Somehow, I'm interested to see how that plays out. Her powers are she can manipulate her matter in order to make like a big fist, like almost like Mr. Fantastic. So it's not necessarily stretchy. How is he not a doctor? Like Mr. Fantastic. Well, he probably has 7,000 doctorates. But he goes by Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, but disrespectful. They're changing her powers a bit for the show visually, so that's not going to look so much like Reed Richards. It'll be actually more Green Lantern-y, where she has like a projection of a fist. If that makes sense. So interesting. Yeah. What did Ryan Reynolds think about it? Yeah. he's probably going to do better than his own Green Lantern movie. What is that? Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought I saw a still from some of the stuff released about it where it looks like she's getting hit by that. You know how it looked when Rambo went through Wanda's shield there? That's what it looked like to me when it looked like she was getting surrounded by some cloud of stuff that looked like that. I don't know if that was actually a still from the show or if that was something somebody made. So I didn't know if that would play in at all. I don't know. Well, we'll see what they do. I'm not a big fan of the idea of like almost like a Green Lantern style projection. It's just weird. I mean, I get why they do it because you don't want to be like, oh, here's Miss Marvel, and then you introduce Reed Richards, and it's like, oh, it's the same power. But, I understand that.
No problems with the Eternals doing it.
That's true. That's true.
How old is she?
She's young.
She's a teen, right?
Yeah, she's a teen. Yeah. So I think she's 14.
She had a lot of comparisons to Peter Parker, like in the comics, because it was like they were following that very similar storyline, where just very young, having that, like, I'm not gonna say storyline, but like it was the very young, like high school version,
right?
Getting a lot of power and great responsibility.
Yeah.
But
you think they'll limit her to like solving neighborhood problems, like that type of?
I don't know where they're taking it, and it should be interesting. It really is.
I think if they're
a
doing
mystery,
the Young Avengers thing, I think you'll see her there because they talked about like stature and like the younger Iron Man.
Yep.
Of course, now they're doing Iron Heart, so maybe not. So
well, if you watched any of the Disney Plus shows so far, they've really done a great job of introducing in WandaVision, Billy and Speed and Wiccan, who I'm sure will be rescued at some point from the multiverse from Wanda in Doctor Strange 2, the Patriot in Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Loki had Kid Loki. They're gonna have Stature, who is Cassie Lang, Ant-Man's daughter in Ant-Man and the Wasp 2 or whatever, Quantumania. I feel like there's other Young Avengers announced. I'm sure She-Hulk will introduce is it Amadeus Cho or Hulkling, whatever his name.
Is it supposed to have that kid from Iron Man 3?
They're two different people. Hulkling.
Yeah, there are two different people, but I wouldn't be surprised if Amadeus Cho is also in that show, because I've read somewhere they connected the two Age of Ultron movie to this show somehow. Anyway, somebody just asked a question.
Is the kid from Iron Man 3 supposed to be in that at all?
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I know they brought him back for...
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in Ironheart, which we'll talk about in a second.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Eric, you have any thoughts?
There wasn't much there.
Yeah.
On that one, like it didn't.
It was a quick tease.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you didn't get much from her. It was just kind of some music and I mean, you really get.
It's been delayed though. It has. It was supposed to premiere at first we heard December, and then we heard January. Now we're hearing it's in the summer of 2022. So. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it looks like I liked Captain Marvel. I thought it was a decent movie. I really. So we'll see where they go with this one. I think it's kind of an interesting origin story here. We'll find out. Like, I always think it's neat when you have like these kind of local superheroes and stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of, I get a little exhausted by the universe. Yeah, the world event universe. It's like, oh my gosh, if we don't do this, the entire universe is gonna collapse. It's like, okay, well, maybe We don't necessarily need a superhero to solve
Maybe
that
Thanos was
particular
right.
problem. Yeah, right. You know, so yeah. So I don't know. But like I
We
said,
don't need to spend much time on this, Marvel.
Yeah,
I don't think it's something that we're all super pumped for.
I just hope she's like the video game version. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. Good take. The next thing, though, I think a lot of us are excited for is the animated TV show that was announced, Spider-Man Freshman Year. So this will be the early days of Tom Holland's Peter Parker becoming Spider-Man. So we're going to probably see a different take on the origin of his powers, getting bit by the spider. We might actually finally see Uncle Ben in the MCU, even though there's been small nods to that he is there. He's never really had I think the first time we heard his name was actually in What If, in the zombie episode.
I think it was What If.
So it'll be really cool to see a different take on the Spider-Man origin story. I think with an animated show, it helps to go back in time. Again, since this is a prequel to Civil War, really, there's a point where the story has got to stop. So I don't know if this is planned for one season or not, but interesting. I'm going to go to our Spider-Man muse, Mr. Brett King. What do you think about it? I'm going to share the title card where you're talking real quick because it's pretty cool. It looks like that animation that's in the Homecoming kind of opening.
I think it'll be very. Obviously, it's Spider-Man, so obviously I'll like it, and I'll watch it.
Brett, are you talking?
Obviously.
The only problem I have is I feel like it's gonna.
You eat that, Mike. You eat that, Mike.
I'm afraid it's gonna suffer from the same thing as Obi-Wan. Because what villains will he have?
Yeah, good point.
Like Vulture can't be in it because Vulture is
right.
The very first one. And so it's got to be extremely, and it might be just fine this way, extremely neighborhood Spider-Man, where he fights extremely localized small crime and he's learning. And then you got
really cool if they had Kingpin and his goons. You could fight him if they're bringing Kingpin into the story or something.
You can't do anything big because he wasn't big. He's gonna be in that homemade suit that he made.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. But if you could do Kingpin as a mafia boss. I mean, he's not necessarily a big thing,
You could do Kingpin if he's never actually in front of Spider-Man.
Well, you could even
if Spider-Man can never confront Kingpin, he can only fight his goons and maybe know of him, but never confront him.
But those goons have got to be the biggest. I feel like you couldn't even do that because they use the Shocker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to fight extremely small time people, and I think it'll be a good show if they don't drag it out. It's 1-2 seasons tops, and it's got to be the origin. So him going about without web shooters because he had to figure it. There had to be a point where he's
had to build them.
Man, I got to get some web shooters because I'm sick of them.
Right.
So it's got first few is just him jumping from rooftop to rooftop and climbing, and then coming to the realization I got to do something here, and then going through that process.
Yeah.
Right. And that, to pick up that, the thing I liked about the Spider-Man, one of the things I liked about the new Spider-Man movies is we didn't get that because we didn't need that.
Right. We've seen it twice before.
Yeah, we all know it. We all get it. It's the same basic story. We completely understand it. And correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't he only been Spider-Man a few months prior to Civil War?
And they don't say an exact amount of time, but it's right. He's a sophomore in Homecoming. Right. And this is freshman year. So there's not a whole lot of time.
Right. So it would only have to be, realistically, I feel like it's going to be 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah.
At most before now he's in the MCU.
I hope it's Tony Stark is the villain. Because he's constantly trying to not because Tony Stark clearly had tabs on him.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's keeping tabs on him and he knows it, but he just
Tony Stark is sending bad guys at him to see what he
he's testing him.
More like he was under surveillance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. because I can't hear you. But what do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking to myself that, you know, you could really start off with baby steps like they did in the you could find out how he gets bit. You find out how he starts to change if he, you know, in that respect, and then also the, you know, in the Tobey Maguire, you know, his first real battle is against a bully in the school. I mean, it's just, you know, against Flash, and so you can there's kind of a formula that's already laid out there, if you will, for how he starts off and then realizes, oh, well, now I can do more. And so when he sees stuff happen, that's like, hey, that person's getting mugged, and, you know, I can step in and help that person. And then, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I do agree with Brett. I think on the, although I could barely hear him on there. No, I'm just teasing.
You'll never know. You'll never know. You never know.
Wait till the episode drops. But I tend to agree with Brett on they're gonna have to be careful with the timing on this and how much they give away because of the box they've put themselves into with making this before Civil War. How much time do you really have to play with there? I mean, I know they're calling it freshman year, so what are they saying? He got bit at the beginning of freshman year, and he's got the whole year, and then I guess he's a sophomore in the second season when he gets called up by Iron Man, and which I did like how they did that in Civil War, you know, where they just, everybody knows, yeah. and it's like we don't need to have his own origin story stuff, whereas like in the DC comic stuff, you know, with Justice League, I don't want to get too deep into that, but in the Justice League comic, nobody knows really a lot about Cyborg, and nobody really knows a ton about, you know, Flash and all that stuff. So giving them an origin story, at least telling a story of how they got to where they got, is, you need to do that so your audience connects with that particular guy. Everybody's already connected to Spider-Man in some way, shape, or form. We all know how Spider-Man got where he got. So you can bring him in that instance, and everybody's like, oh, cool. You know, that's fine. And so I don't know. So going back and kind of filling in this gap is cool. We'll see. Again, they got to be careful. But other than that, I think I'm looking forward to it. I will watch it. I know Jack and I will watch it for sure because he's a Spider-Man fan. So
it is. I think that. The bedroom scene with Tony and Peter, that sounds weird. The scene in Peter's bedroom.
Deleted scene.
Actually,
something about getting midichlorian
You know.
Peter's is pretty high, apparently. It's the best Peter Parker scene, in my opinion, out of any movie that we've gotten, and I just love that scene between Tony and Peter. So really excited to see what the take is prior to that, and I'm looking forward to seeing an animated Marissa Tomei, that's for sure. Next and last on the Disney Plus day is there was more announced, but we only
the show.
We only got certain like just kind
of
of
your share screen.
Yeah, I'm moving it right now. I'm moving it.
Getting a look behind the curtain.
Yeah. Deep into how the show is created, folks.
Yeah. So we got an announcement of a new Agatha Harkness TV show. I don't really know where they're going to take that. Any quick thoughts on that?
Does that take place after How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days?
They didn't tell it.
I believe so.
That's the best one. Like, I think it's Kate Hudson.
I feel like this is going to be a before. I feel like this has got to be a before.
Go ahead. Mark, what?
I feel like it's going to be a before, or at least a mix maybe of what the heck she's been doing prior to realizing that there's this super being Wanda.
Yeah, could be.
But they could also mix in a little bit of her stuck in that, what she's stuck in, you know,
right.
at the end of that, she's maybe, it's a mix of flashbacks and, how is she getting out of the spell that she's in.
Right.
So we'll see. I mean, I'll watch it.
She's not a villain. So I think if you put her in the, I think it's exactly like you say, where it's more of her kind of remembering the things that she does so they can kind of cut out that villainous aspect of it. I think you can keep her as the character she is instead of.
Maybe they'll reveal that she's actually Mephisto.
The entire time.
Finally. Yeah. all along. There's Mephisto all along. Marvel Zombies was announced as a separate show from What If. I'm not the biggest zombie guy, as everybody knows, but I loved how they did the zombie stuff in What If. Eric, what do you think about Marvel Zombies?
No idea. No idea. I don't have any clue. I didn't watch any of What If, so I have nothing. I've no frame of reference.
Moving on.
I will circle back. I will circle back to the Agatha.
What's your opinion?
I've got Catherine Hahn for the win. Like if she's in it, I'm gonna watch it because I think she's just brilliant, super charming, super funny.
Charisma.
And
big time.
She does, yeah. So I will watch it just because she's got star power for me at least when it comes.
For sure, she started out in movies like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days as like the side character who's kind of always desperate.
Zoe Deschanel. She strikes me as a kind of a Zoe Deschanel type. It was like the sidekick, started off as a sidekick, and then but she was so adorable that you couldn't help but just be drawn to her as well. She stole a lot of the scenes. So yeah, I think
Zoe Deschanel's always been number one in my heart. So she's never been a sidekick.
Even in Tin Man.
Brett, what do you think of Marvel?
Was she in Mac and Me?
I think she was.
That's Jennifer Aniston.
in the McDonald's birthday.
I think we do have a clip
with Paul Rudd.
You have a clip
with Paul Rudd.
Marvel Zombies. I was never I didn't watch What If. It was never something that I cared to get into, and it felt like, hey, Marvel's really popular. Hey, zombies are really popular.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm onto something. And then that's what it felt like. So it just felt like it wasn't anything I was interested in.
I get that totally. That's the way I felt when Marvel Zombies first came out. Yeah.
But that just felt forced.
I felt that way all the way up to What If. Watch What If, and I liked how they did zombies in that. What do you think, More? You're the big zombie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like all Marvel stuff. I'm excited.
Big Zombie 3000.
Big Zombie 3000. No, I'm interested. I almost kind of wanted to not be related to What If. Like I would prefer it to be its own show. Just because What If, wraps up a lot of it within that episode because they have to, because it's one episode. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with it and the direction they take with it. But I think this is like make it a mini series, do one season. And
just to be clear, it's going to be animated as well. It's not going to be like Walking Dead zombies. So What If season 2 was announced again. Watch What If.
Yeah, I like What If.
Went in with no expectations and loved every episode. It was really incredible. I know, Morgan, you watched it and loved it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was good.
If you guys haven't seen anything, there was a show called I Am Groot that was announced. I have no idea how they're going to do this. I could watch Baby Groot all day long, but
good way to sell.
It's not like where they just going to do it.
It feels like a cash grab.
I feel like it's
that's a cash grab
story, right?
Did they announce is it
special?
It starts out with him being cut down.
I am Groot. Yeah. That's going to get real quick. So I don't know.
Is it going to be a cartoon or?
It doesn't say.
Because I feel like they could go like on Disney Plus. Have you seen that like Spidey and his friends or?
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but it's
for like 3-year-olds.
Yeah, like I could see them doing the Groot thing. It's meant for just children. Like it's not going to be.
That could be. That's
any real plot.
It's or like the Olaf stuff that they just released.
Right. Like it's just a cute. That's what I think they would do with it. Because I can't,
they can't do much.
I don't even know a Samantha.
Ironheart, we knew, we got a new title card as we saw when I had the screen share. But then the last thing that we kind of saw was a quick shot of Nick Fury in Secret Invasion. Really excited for that, as that's about the Skrull invasion. And Skrulls have been on Earth for a long time, and it'll be really exciting to see and play the guessing game of who's been a Skrull all along. So
it's a dangerous game to play, though.
I agree, because it's Secret Invasion is big as far as who's a Skrull, what's going like. So is this next phase of Marvel supposed to be a Secret Invasion Skrull thing? Is it supposed to be
You're a Skrull?
like, because this could be big. Look,
you just glossed over, your arm disappeared.
You find out they're Skrulls because they transform into moonlight. How does this work? I just don't understand.
It's Mario.
I know it's Mario. I don't know.
It's Mario. Oh no!
Better stop your parents from.
Nobody's listening to you after your Luke Skywalker take. Anyway, it doesn't matter what you just said.
Listen, Obi-Wan Kenobi could beat Luke, but
Brett, you were saying it's a dangerous game.
Yes, go Brett.
But I was going to get some power converters.
It's just dangerous because, like, who's been real the whole time? Who hasn't been? Because you love characters, like, and then it's also dangerous because then you can start undoing things that you did, like Tony's death had meaning, and you can't take that away because he was a Skrull or something crazy like that. So it's just a dangerous game. You got to walk that wire real careful. I know they're kind of starting to with that picture of Nick Fury. Like with the huge cat scratch down his face, it's kind of like they're almost making it look like he was a Skrull the entire time, and that's just really dangerous. Because if he had if that's not actually Nick Fury, and Nick Fury's been off world for a very long time.
I mean, he was a Skrull. Where was he? Him and Talos switched spots. Was that Far From Home?
Yeah, it was Far From Home, and that's what I'm saying. It's a dangerous game because, like, if he had that super cat scratch on his face, that meant none of the Nick Furies we've ever seen has ever been actually Nick Fury, and that's a very dangerous game to play.
Well, they'll fix it all with the multiverse. They just
that's one way to do it.
It's very dangerous.
I
get it.
Yeah, they should do it as like a one-off type thing where, like, when we find out, SHIELD is actually Hydra, where it's kind of like almost like its own little contained side story, that doesn't play a whole too large into the big picture, where if the Secret Invasion is more of like Nick Fury investigating a smaller side piece of stuff, and it gets figured out.
It says there's going to be some very prominent characters that were Skrulls all along. So there's some big names attached to it. Olivia Colman.
It could be all the acquired characters from Fox.
Cyclops. Cyclops was a Skrull the whole time.
They need to be Skrulls. What do you think, Eric?
I agree with Brett. You just gotta be careful. I think how you do it, because you do kind of strip meaning away from characters and from other things. And I mean, anytime you try and there's a cool level of deception and espionage that you can leverage with that that can really kind of, you can play on that mystery. You can really play that mystery card pretty hard and keep your audience guessing all the time. But you just have to be careful how you want to play it out, because you don't want to overplay it. So it's a fine line that they're going to have to walk. I'm hoping, although as much as I'd love to get more Nick Fury, I'm hoping that they wrap it up quick. I don't want it to be. I don't want to be anything that gets dragged along for a long time just for the sake of, dragging it along. So I don't know. We'll see.
The best, if you want to see a really good adaptation of the Secret Invasion storyline, watch the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon on Disney Plus. Really great adaptation of that storyline that they dragged it out like I think they teased it at the end of the first season, and then it happened a lot throughout the second season. So it was really, really cool. Okay, that's it for Disney Plus Day. There was some Pixar stuff and some regular Disney Plus stuff. Yeah.
The Baymax looks good. That was a good trailer.
They showed Armor Wars, the title, just reminding us that it's coming. They didn't show anything from it. They showed the holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy's coming on Disney Plus, but didn't get anything else significant from it. So again, it was kind of a letdown in the sense of we didn't get anything big picture stuff like movie, phase 4, phase 5 movie stuff. We don't know anything more about the Marvel Universe than the day before Disney Plus Day. We just have an idea of what's coming up over the next couple of years. And I know you hate that, Brett. I know you hate them announcing things a couple of years in advance, but they kind of have to.
It's the world we live in. We need, because of streaming, like everyone's got to know everything right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I made last night. I made what did we decide on? Kiwi, grapefruit, something like kiwi. I made Kiwi watch
Kiwi.
Willow last night because of the Willow.
Oh yeah, the Willow TV show coming out. And she's like, "What is Willow?" I'm like, "Jesus Christ!"
Yeah,
Kiwi.
That's such a great Mad Mardigan. Yeah. Oh my gosh! And you know who died? Who died? One of the guys in that movie just died the other day.
Ken Stockwell, is that his name?
I think so. Yeah. The main. He wasn't really a villain in it.
The guy with the skull face.
What's his name?
Yeah.
I think it's Ken Stockwell.
Well, did he fall on a sword? How did he die?
Yeah, he died of old age, but I don't know.
Wow, bro.
I think he was killed.
That's how he died.
His microphone wasn't working.
It's a good thing we can't hear you on that. We can't.
His podcast
we can hear.
Mates were so sick of his microphone not working.
There was a Disney Plus Day special video release where Warwick Davis was announcing the rest of the cast or showing off the rest of the cast.
And I got a theory. Can I say one theory real quick?
Yeah.
One of the characters was the.
Can you speak up?
One of the characters was the woman from Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yes, the redheaded girl who, gosh, what was her name? Also, the guy who plays Flash Thompson in Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man's is in it too.
But my theory, real quick, is I think she's going to play the baby. Because the baby always had like red curly-ish hair, and so I'm going.
Oh, that makes total sense.
That's my very small theory. That's my very small theory.
Aaron Kellyman as Jade.
Oh, they already got it announced because it's not theory; it's already announced.
Yeah, is Jade the baby?
No, it starts with an E, I think.
Can be.
E?
Well, I mean, I don't know how they spell everything. They call the humans Draconis.
I know, but what did they have a?
I thought it was Elise or something like that.
Does the baby have a name?
Yeah, I think it was Elise or something. Like
Alora.
Alora, that's it.
Oh, we don't have an Alora. We don't have an Alora.
Maybe Jade is her. Maybe Jade is her fake name.
Maybe
like Rusty.
I mean, it's like a really good theory. I like that theory. I like that
Jade
theory.
or Rusty. They went Jade.
And Tony Revolori, who plays Flash Thompson in the Tom Holland Peter Parker movies, is in it too.
Jeff Boyardi.
The guy
and of course, Warwick Davis is returning as Willow.
Did you say Chef Boyardee?
I did.
What were you saying, Eric?
Boyardi.
Just say Gavin O'Harley is the guy who played Eric Thalbauer, I think was his name, but yeah, he was like one of the guys. He just recently passed away, so. But yeah, Willow is a great movie. I love that movie.
Oh, it's a classic.
Yeah.
I remember the Burger King where they had like the magic tricks.
I don't remember that.
Because remember he does that weird ring magic trick, and Burger King had something to do with it.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. Well, yeah, because he was a magician, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah. Illusions.
I know we're still in Willow, but I thought the Baymax trick.
You don't like my illusions, Dad. Tricks are for whores.
What are we even doing here?
Nobody knows.
Val Kilmer might have to be one of our next. We might just have to do all the Batman
That's right.
actors as
That's where Val Kilmer. That was his wife in real life. Like he married that girl from that movie.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Good for him. Good for
we
him.
love Val Kilmer.
Fine.
The heck, we might honestly have to do a Val Kilmer
Do a Val Kilmer show.
Yeah.
show. So
He
I'm
was
down for
funny
that.
in Real Genius.
I love that. That's
Top
one
Gun, he
of
was
them.
funny too,
He was.
but he sucked as
Nice.
Batman. Oh, come on. That's a line from Bowling for Soup.
I liked him as Batman. I liked him as Bruce Wayne as well. Not the greatest movie. Now it was at one point my favorite movie in the world when I was 10. But we'll save that. Maybe we'll revisit that when we do.
I was
Val
just
Kilmer
singing
actor show.
Bowling for Soup from you. That wasn't even my thoughts. That was from a line from Bowling for Soup.
Well, we can't hear you, so it doesn't matter. So anyway,
Freaking
thank
out
you for.
And he's gone.
Happy birthday, bro!
Yeah.
With that being said,
Hey.
Should have entered.
All right.
surprise! Yeah, anyway, wrapping up. Happy birthday, Brett. Really excited to see the new Spider-Man trailer on Tuesday for a day after your birthday. Tomorrow's your birthday. Everybody wish Brett a happy birthday as much as you possibly can, and we'll bring back on to talk about that Spider-Man trailer and whatever else we'll talk about next week. And Ghostbusters, like how it's your birthday week and we're getting a new Spider-Man trailer and a new Ghostbusters movie. Like, is this the greatest birthday week?
I'm very excited. I already bought my tickets to go see it.
Can we not get our hopes up for a Spider-Man trailer?
Oh.
Because it may not.
Yeah, we were supposed to get Obi-Wan yesterday or Friday.
No, it's confirmed that it's coming out on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, what I thought you meant is it going to show
that too
to people that may or may not be in this movie? I don't know. But I'm excited to see the trailer. I'm excited. This will give more story detail, and we'll get to understand what the heck this movie's about when it comes out. So I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to talk more about it. Again, we've been trying really hard to separate ourselves from being a superhero podcast. We want to be just a nerd world podcast where we talk about movies, TV shows, and stuff. A lot of times it just lends itself to getting into the superhero world, and that's what the big thing in the world is these days. So it just happens that way. We love talking superheroes. We love talking about Saturday morning cartoons. It's just one of those things where we will talk everything nerd that we possibly can. You guys did a zombie episode recently, which was great. So looking forward to talking everything nerd here in the future on the NRD Rundown Presents. And if you guys have a better name for the show, please let us know. Send it into the show via Twitter, via YouTube, via whatever it might be. We want to hear your thoughts. We listen to you guys because, again, this is why we're separating it out. You guys asked us to do it so that you guys can consume it in a different manner. And it's just more views for us. So we like it.
Wait, you guys are getting paid?
Not yet.
Oh.
Well, I
I
am.
mean, they don't give you money.
Yeah, your check's in the mail, Morg.
Call it morgue.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody for watching and listening in. We'll see you next week on NRD Rundown Presents.
Yeah. Just one thing before we sign off. I did want to say, I'm sorry, I should have interjected this real fast. So
It's okay. Please.
today, in addition to Brett D. King's birthday, it is also World Diabetes Day. So if you are looking for a charity or anything to donate to, there's 530 some million people who suffer from diabetes in one way, shape, or form. So keep it in your mind. If you're looking for a charity, please feel free to donate to them. It's a good cause.
Do you have a link? Do you have a link?
I will put it in the description for YouTube for that. So if you're interested in learning more about diabetes and those who are affected by it, I would appreciate you taking the time. So other than that, I don't want to keep it on too much of a downer or anything. But
all right, Peter Jackson, give us another ending.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week on the NRD Rundown Presents.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.